when the last time we saw them in Game 1, they brought the aggression.
Yeah.
And that might actually catch Complexity off guard. And I actually think they might be able to take a game off of him. As far as the series go, I have no question in my mind Complexity will probably take that series.
Yeah.
But I do actually think that OTP has a chance to take a game. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I can see that. I still think, though, 2-0 Complexity. I think that they're obviously just too good. So then the final matchup was Pudge versus Q Squad 777. So quickly again before we jump into the match here, who do you think? Who do you got there? Again, this Q Squad team, this other Q Squad team, don't really know them.
Yeah, I don't know them at all, really. So that's going to be hard for me to judge then because I do not know them. But just that being said, I'm going to have to go with Pudge just because I know them a little bit more. But that's an uninformed decision right
The
there.
Q Squad 777, they just defeated Vitriolic, actually, 2-1 to move on today. So clearly a solid team there. Anyways, Game 1 has actually started here, ladies and gentlemen. So Trademark Esports, Gary Johnson 2012. That's the matchup you're tuning in for. And that's the matchup we're going to give you. Game number 1, let's take a look. Welcome back to us. I'm going to be tdM. You're going to know. So game number 1, take 2. Okay, we'll just jump into it. There you go. Anyway, so as you can see, we got tdM is actually on the Hellborn side, and of course Gary Johnson on the Legion side. And the locking phase has begun. So the blind bands, Wild Soul Tundra coming out here from Swindamelons. Fade and Tremble going to be happening from Trademark Esports. So how about that, actually? You know, even valuing Tremble to the point of blind banning Tremble against Keizu.
Yeah, it's not even so much maybe like actually I think tdM does run him from time to time too, but I think it's just more of Tremble seems to be one of Vote's comfort heroes. And maybe in their minds they just can't really play as many different strategies as say tdM, and that they're really kind of locked in on this Tremble. They're very comfortable with this Tremble, so why not get rid of it? So they also ban out that Fade. I'm very curious as to why Legion did ban out Wild Soul, and Tundra actually has been seen how they are first pick.
Yeah.
So that kind of strikes me as a little interesting. But already some interesting locks as we got Midas, and then two, count them, hard carries right off the bat locked by Minuts, being that Silhouette and Dark Lady. And there's a Jungle, and there's a Suicide. And actually both can be played as a Suicide. Keep It the Forest and Plague locked out by Swindamelons.
Yeah, and then the final lock, Tempest. So speaking of a Jungle Suicide combination there. So yeah, pretty quick lock pool there, but you said, I mean, the Midas, though, that throws me off a little bit. Midas, not a hero we see at all on the competitive scene. I know he did get a couple of buffs in recent patches. I want to say his armor went back up a little bit, and maybe some of his abilities got slightly buffed, but I don't think it's anywhere near enough to the point of, oh my god, we need to start playing this guy again. But locked here first by Swindlemelon. So I wonder if maybe that's a case of they have some strategy in mind, or more so they just wanted to maybe throw tdM off guard first. I don't know. I mean, do you have any insight on the Midas lock there? Or?
I don't. I do think I agree. Yeah, he did get. I think it was like a point or a 1 point something armor boost.
Yeah.
You remember a long time ago, actually, he had it nerfed, his armor specifically. And they kind of reverted just a little bit of that because they know that he is kind of a weak laner. His spells are all skill shots, basically, and they're harder to hit. He has a little bit of a lower range, but he is a strength hero that has range, which is always fun and very cool.
Yeah.
And in this metagame, he's always been popular because of his ability to anti-push with his spells from far distance. I don't know, have too much insight as to whether these teams run him frequently or not. I think he's just kind of thrown out there. But we'll see. It'd be fun to watch him, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's always entertaining, you know, seeing heroes that we don't see a whole lot, obviously, on the competitive scene picked up, especially in a matchup like this. I mean, you know, it's one thing to happen, you know, Joe Schmoes versus Bob's Crab Shack or something like that going at it, and you have that pick. But tdM versus I don't know where he came. That's actually a restaurant, I think, from where he used to live, Bob's Crab Shack. Pretty good place. Anyways, I would be talking about food, right? Vote versus tdM, though, in a matchup like this, that's where it's really cool to see, you know, those fun pickups. But again, he's in the lock pool, not necessarily going to be picked, but we'll see. It was the first lock. So Draconis, Ophelia, Parasite, Engineer, Prophet, and Pebbles. So those are the 6 bans going to be coming out here. Swindamelon's valuing that Prophet to the point of wanting to ban him, actually, against tdM. So some insight there, but interesting. Putting a ban on a Prophet. Again, a hero we expect to see a lot more. We haven't seen a whole lot of him yet, but I'm sure as time goes on, he'll become more and more comfortable. But banned here.
Yeah, I don't really understand the necessity to ban that hero. I think he's fun. I think he's good. I still don't think he's like uber strong. Obviously, he just feels like a little clunky. Like he doesn't really have that much mobility.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, first pick from Team Vote is actually Bubbles, and I think Bubbles' first pick is awesome. I think that hero is so versatile. You can run him in a number of different situations. And so they're going to go with a strong. It could be a suicide. It also could be a mid. It also could be a short. That's why Bubbles is versatile. So Bubbles is the first pick from Swindle Melons. And, yeah.
Yeah. So strong first pick there for them. Of course, over now to my notes for TDM, the captain of the team. What will he follow up with as far as his first 2 regular picks? You talked about how they locked up both Silhouette and Dark Lady in that lock pull right away from Trademark. So probably not going to be a carry option here, and it is not. Instead, it's an Luna Polywalk Priest, actually. It's been a while since we've seen a Polywalk Priest, it seems like. But again, a very, very powerful hero, of course, in that middle presence. Can do a lot for your team, and the level 6 always so useful for you. So.
Yep.
Polywog Luna, first 2 picks from TDM.
Limp is a really good Polywog Priest player.
Yes.
And plays him quite effectively. I will say I was hoping to see TDM actually do a dual lane mid. They could potentially still do that, but probably not, because with 2 of those very strong hard carries being in that pool, you don't really... I mean, I guess you could pick up one right now and maybe do a dual lane mid like with Forsaken Archer or something. And then Deadwood Glacius picked up from Vote. I know that Vote's been running a lot of Deadwood lately, and I do think that hero is very strong. But we're probably going to see... I might even hope to see Polywog in the short lane against Bubbles. It can do just fine. I think Polywog is just too easy to counter in mid. But you can very easily respond. Like, say you start out with a Luna Dark Lady top, and your Polywog Priest is getting dual lane mid. Obviously, Luna can just go to the mid, and then you're going to have that dual range lane with multiple abilities to spam. So it's not that bad. But anyway, last pick here coming up for TDM.
Yeah, seeing that Glacius Deadwood over there for Vote. Pretty fun stuff. But for TDM, the final pick, not using any extra time just yet. It's going to start dipping into it right here, it looks like. But obviously plenty of options on the board for their captain to choose. It's going to be fun seeing Deadwood, though. I'm not going to lie again. We've been seeing it a couple times trickle here in the competitive scene. And by all means has potential, the really snowballing effect. And, of course, with that Rotten Grasp, as you talked about lately, with the minus armor, Legionnaire.
I was just about to write it, man. I swear.
I see you typing it in.
I swear to God, I was just about to write it.
You can cut me off. You can feel free to.
No. I didn't have to cut you off to write it. I was just...
Yeah.
Well,
they picked it, so that's the cool thing. We do get to see a Legionnaire here, and actually Z-Freak has been playing a lot of Legionnaire lately, but TDM obviously going to play him this time around.
Yeah, and the reason why I think it would fit them well is because they need another jungler, and obviously there's junglers in the pool, but you have to assume that TDM is going to pick up one of those hard carries, so that leaves you one of those jungles maybe. And obviously, Keep of the Force is picked up for Vote. If you secure that jungler, you can have a number of different suicides. You can go Plague Rider suicide. You can also go Tempest suicide. So it just depends on what they want. For this game against this team, I'm thinking Silhouette might be a little bit better than Dark Lady, actually. Silhouette's going to be pretty good against... Actually, you can disjoint a little bit the Deadwood Punch as he comes up and uses it mid-animation. You can also get out the Keep of the Force ultimate with that ultimate from Silhouette. So I'm going to go ahead and guess here... I'm going to guess Tempest, and the thing is I hate Suicide Tempest, but I'm going to go ahead and guess Tempest Silhouette. It actually could even be a Suicide Midas, now that I think about it.
It's going to be Tempest, but they got to go Silhouette. I mean, Silhouette or Dark Lady. I don't see them passing up on a carry altogether here.
Yeah, they're just deciding on which one to go.
One, yeah.
It's hard. I mean, obviously Dark Lady carries a little bit harder. They are going to go with the Dark Lady. I think Silhouette's just really good against Keeper of the Forest, personally. And but Dark Lady, nothing to be ashamed of. This hero carries very hard, and Noob plays him very effectively.
Yeah, the kind of thing. Clearly they were thinking about it, but in the end, they went with one of them, of course, and they do go with the Dark Lady. So Noob, very powerful Dark Lady player. Swindle Melons has a bit of time here to choose their final pick. They too could use a carry. Obviously, now Silhouette is their option if they want to go for that, or they could just go more of a different style. A Plague Rider I could see actually. Well, now looking at the lineup as a whole, yeah, Plague Rider could definitely bring something to the table. So could that Midas, actually. So they choose to pick him. So yeah, going to be interesting here to see what Vote ultimately decides to go with. Clearly, again, they're using their extra time here, as they should, to make sure they make the correct decision here. But
well, this just stands out to me. I mean, it should be Silhouette, no question.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, it should be no question Silhouette. But they're kind of like, well, Silhouette would make the most sense, but wait a second, we don't run hard carries. Why would we do that? No, but they could do a Silhouette Glacius to start out. Keep of the Force obviously in the jungle, Bubbles in the suicide lane, and then Deadwood to solo mid against that Polywog.
Thrown out there.
And it would be a pretty straightforward game right there. But they're dipping into a lot of extra time. 4 more seconds. What are they going to go? It's going to be Silhouette. What do you know?
Yeah, it is. All right, so we see right there, Silhouette is a final pick, so they're going to go ahead and already up, and we should be good to go as far as game number 1 here. between Gary Johnson and Trademark Esports. So might need to fix something real quickly. There we go. All right. There we go. Let's change a couple things. All right, and we're back in. I just had to fix some sound things. So here we go. Game number 1 going to be commencing here. Gary Johnson versus Trademark. Yeah, they did go the silhouette. It just made the most sense, obviously, in the end. So, I'm excited to see the Legionnaire. Going to be played by my nuts, actually, for tdM, so that's going to be fun. He just seems like such an entertaining hero, and we are starting to see more and more. Hell, we saw him in the previous series, actually. So, of course,
what it really is what does a hero truly need? That is okay. Anyway, it's a combination of things. One, the jungle change. Jungle change. It kind of helped some junglers, it hurt some junglers, but it definitely helped Legionnaire. Obviously, the Minotaur spawn an extra minute or little Gotar, and that helps them spin more frequently. It evens out the amount of damage done by, say, Catmans and Minotaurs and what have you. And so it definitely favors, or it helped Legionnaire have a little bit easier time. Also, the change before that, Courier's not being able to block spawns, that also helped Legionnaire come back in the scene.
Yeah.
Also, just the fact that, Skyzo getting a little bit of trouble right there. He used the Shell Surf a number of times, but still wasn't able to get the ward out. So really good job from tdM getting up there very fast. That's a fantastic job by them. But then on top of that, we see just so much passive. We don't ever see people manning up in the long lane, and that makes it easy for Legionnaire to get free farm. He's not going to have that much contention up in this jungle, and that's a good thing for him, obviously.
Yeah, so he will be having some good time up here. Going to use that Decapitator, Executor, whatever you want to call him, skin. And I actually like that one the most. It's pretty badass with that big-ass axe. So Deadwood is going to be heading towards mid. Obviously, as you mentioned there, Skyzo on Bubbles. He tried to get up there, place the ward of sight down, but it just wasn't going to happen. tdM was just ready for that. They had prepared, and Skyzo is now heading back to base to actually pick up his items back here, and we'll eventually head back up there. So we'll see if he eventually can get it down, but at least off the bat, was not able to do so. Zion Tempest, of course, going to head down here to the bottom lane. He'll be like Suicide against Keizu on Silhouette, so that'll be is Glacius. I'm guessing Glacius, of course, will join Silhouette down there. And Keeper of the Forest will also make its way, so we're going to have kind of a pseudo tri-lane down here. Deadwood mid, and then Bubbles top. But yeah, Swindamelon's playing this Deadwood. A fun hero to watch, especially if he takes off. So
yeah,
I can't wait to see what he does.
I have a couple words about the metagame and what people can do right now, and what I don't see teams do enough of is, one, I don't see teams man up in long lanes enough. I think tri-lanes, straight tri-lanes can work. I don't think you have to go for a jungle in this metagame. I think as long as you have the right heroes that can be aggressive to the other junglers, like heroes like Andromeda or Parasite or Magnus. Magnus can still be played as a second support. It's very effective if you have heroes to back him up, like a Luna or Engie or even Andromeda or something like that. So that if you do try to do something like an aggressive tri-lane, you're still not able to get a kill. You can still roam effectively on a jungler. Like, what's a Legionnaire going to do with an Andromeda and a Magnus in your face? Like, it's very difficult to get farm.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say is, this is why I think having a dual lane mid that wins, no matter what, having the stronger dual lane, no doubt, is the best way to draft in this metagame. The reason being, all I can see right now happening, they're going to start, okay, maybe Sender will go bottom as Glacius. They'll start out Glacius and Silhouette against Tempest. What will he decide? They don't need me. Sender will be like, Glacius does not need to be needed down here against the Suicide. Tempest, Silhouette will be just fine. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go roam mid. Well, he roams mid. Same thing's going to happen. Luna's going to be like, do they really need me against the Suicide Bubbles? I'm pretty sure Dark League can still farm just fine without me. They've already put the Glacius mid. I'm going to go rotate mid. So what do you have? A dual lane versus a dual lane mid. So why not start out with a stronger dual lane mid, like we see Magnus Engineer, Magnus Luna, Glacius Meraxis, something like that. And it just saves you a little bit of time, because 9 times out of 10, that's what ends up happening anyway.
Yeah, that's very interesting, actually. Put it that way. So when it's all said and done, I mean, that's just how it takes place. So yeah, we could very likely end up seeing a 2v2 mid here anyway. So obviously sitting on a pause here. It seems like they are ready to go, though. So going to be coming out of it, and now going to see how the lanes actually start advancing on here in this game. Of course, Keeper of the Forest using those tree dogs to scout out some possible lane setups that the Hellborn team is going to be running, although fairly obvious. Again, you still want to make sure that they're not doing anything too crafty, and you can just guarantee that your setup will be fine against it. So again, neither team doing that level 1 Congo or anything. That would be pretty cool, but not going to happen. So yeah, Deadwood obviously with the hatchet on top of the log, or the oak bolt as it's called. He hits like a freaking truck. How do you think Deadwood will fare against a Polywog Priest in a 1v1. Now, granted, again, we might see an exchange eventually happen, but 1v1, Deadwood versus Polywog, who do you have?
It's kind of a toss-up. I have to give the edge to Deadwood because he just has so much damage, and he's pretty much, if he plays it correctly, he's going to get every single last hit. But already we have Glacius doing some harassment to Polywog, and okay, there's the dual lane mid, so what's going to happen? Luna's probably going to roam to the mid, and we're going to see a dual lane versus dual lane mid.
Shocker.
And, yep, and then it becomes a battle of who has the more effective jungler, and who can be more active in the jungle, who can farm better, who can maybe get some ganks. Legionnaire versus Keeper of the Forest, they both farm, they're both passive, I should say. If Legionnaire gets a really, really good jungle, as we saw, though, just as the game we casted, he can get ridiculous amounts of levels. So he didn't go for the hatchet this build, which I think is still okay.
Well, not a friendly camp here either. You got a camp and champion of Ultralord spawn, and that's going to do a lot of damage to him. So
I don't know why he chose to stack the hard camp first. I don't know why he didn't just choose to. If you stack the easy camp first,
it's a healer though.
Yeah, but you can still do it.
Difficult, man.
All you have to do is walk in range. The only way you can't do it is if you get a lucky spin the first time. Like he does it right. Okay, he doesn't need to. Oh, it's not stacking it. But anyway, if you do it where you just get in range of the camp, you don't actually have to attack anything to pull it. So it's a chance. It's difficult, but it's still very easy to pull it.
Yeah. Well, clearly it's not an ideal start for Legionnaire, though, this game. And that is kind of unfortunate. That kind of goes back to the whole discussion of, jungle versus jungle. If the ideal spawns happen, then Legionnaire could definitely win that matchup. But the start so far, it seems like Keeper of the Forest could possibly have the better time. And actually, Luna still hasn't adjusted. I mean, Luna's still up here at the top lane, actually helping out Darklead a little bit even in the jungle, it seems like, getting involved in there. I don't know if that's because of some creep pulls or something, but looks like there might have been. But so yeah, so going to help out there, but when will she eventually go to the middle lane, as it just seems like it may be inevitable? We'll see. They're going to counter ward off the bat here, take out the top root. Glacius running over there, protecting it for now, actually. But Legionnaire will just snipe it out as he eats the tree and gets the kill. So, and Luna is heading back towards the top lane. So Insania is still refusing to adjust mid here.
Yeah, and I think the most odd thing about it is Bubbles never got the ward off in that camp. They could have easily stayed at their stacked it and got lane positioning as well as extra farm on your support being a Luna. So that just strikes me as very weird. You spend all that time in the beginning making sure they don't ward, and then you don't utilize the pull. So I don't understand the reasoning behind that. It looks like he will go ahead and stack it now, but it could have been done 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting thing right there. And yeah, I was mentioning too with the healer camp. Unfortunately, Legionnaire killed it before that 30-second or after the 37-second mark. It didn't spawn for a whole minute now, and now it's going to spawn. It's going to be Snodder. So whoop-de-doo, you're going to get what 50
He
gold
didn't watch your video.
He didn't. Yeah.
He did not watch a Trout Seal of Approval segment.
Apparently not.
So unfortunate right there. And again, he's not having the most ideal start, but we'll keep an eye on it and see how Minuts does on Legionnaire as far as the game progresses. So top lane though, now how is Noob doing with the success in this lane? He's currently 18-4 now, compared to a 6-1 bubble. So obviously, really controlling the lane in that sense. And we do have the double stack pull happening now by Insania. So that will put the position back in favor of Noob as well.
Yep.
And you can expect his farm to continue to do very well. Compared to a Silhouette, he is slightly beating the Silhouette actually being played by Kaze, who's 16-5. Compared to Tempest, who's actually 12-5. So Tempest holding his own down here somewhat at the bottom lane.
Yeah, doing a really good job, actually. I'm actually really surprised about that. I haven't been really paying attention to this lane. I'm curious as to... Oh, right there. Oh, the mana potion is canceled by Kazu, so that's exactly what you have to do. As soon as they spawn those minions, as soon as they use that clarity potion, you got to cancel it immediately. But I haven't been watching that lane, and I'm surprised that Zai is doing that well, but Zai continues to impress me as a Suicide player. Just does a fantastic job. Regen Rune is down here, will be bottled by Swindle Melons, playing the Deadwood. He has his boots as well. So off to a great start, 24-17 against this Poly, who's only 7-2. Of course, Glacius is assisting in that, but hey, they're being successful.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely are. And so you're so right, though. I mean, to follow up that on Zai, he really is just such an impressive Suicide role player. The crazy thing, too, I mean, again, he's only 15 years old, I believe. I mean, I believe he's even the youngest pro player in the competitive HoN scene, at least. So he's, of course, going to be going to DreamHack. It'll be fun seeing him there. I believe this will be his second DreamHack, if not more. But anyways, very, very important player for the team. So Insania actually going to do some counter warding right here. So the ward site was finally placed by Skyzo, but it is going to be counter warded right there. And actually with Legionnaire pulling it, could actually get the stack happening. Skyzo taking a little bit of pressure, will be fine, and the stack will be successful. Very well executed actually between Insania and my nuts right there. So get the stack off, and he'll be able to pull it as a result.
Yep, job
Ooh,
well
middle
done.
lane. Middle lane's in a lot of trouble. Polywalk Priest, there comes the Tree Dog from the side. Limp realizing he's in a lot of trouble. Out comes the root, and Polywalk Priest will fall. Z-Freak actually on Keeper of the Forest, getting credit for the kill, and now they're going to apply some pressure to the tower here.
Yep, and good job by them. And utilizing that ultimate as soon as he hits level 6, that's exactly how to play Keeper of the Forest, in my opinion. And having that double tree combination.
Yeah.
Get to see this every once in a while. It's always a little bit of fun.
If Keeper of the Forest uses his Nature's Veil next to Deadwood, will he go Invis?
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I just thought that was fun. Yeah, probably not. We do see the tower going down in favor of the Legion team. So as you said, not only hits level 6, sets up a gank, but pushes a tower with it as well. Usually it's a side lane tower, but hell, if you can push the mid lane tower, might as well. And all of a sudden, a 2,500 gold lead in favor of Vote here. So very good start for them now. As a result of that, you still have Dark Lady and Legionnaire. Definitely having a great time, but no doubt in favor right now of Vote here.
Yeah, and pushing the mid tower is arguably better than pushing the side lane towers as well. You can't really get lane positioning from pulling creeps or anything like that in mid. And it just seems like, mid is the focal point of a map. It's the center of the map, obviously. And it just seems to be a lot more effective by pushing a tower in mid. Tempest trying to do a little bit of Ancients, but Keeper's going to stop that right in its tracks. So Z-Freak doing a pretty good job starting out in this game. He's a top GPM in the game, almost 400 gold per minute. Obviously getting credit for, we got credit for the Bloodlust and then got the tower gold as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that was huge for them indeed. So it seems like Legionnaire again, he didn't have the friendliest of starts, but he's not doing too bad here. He's 280 gold per minute. He's still level 6. So his experience per minute is actually 4th overall in the game. His teammate in Dark Lady is leading the way, both in experience per minute and not in gold per minute, though. She is at 345, doing very well. But obviously Silhouette is on top, getting that tower go from the team, and then also just having a very successful time down here. Kind of makes sense. They're going to push this tower here with Keeper of the Forest joining the party. Unless we see a quick movement here from tdM. This is most likely going to be another tower kill. So it's really, what do they do as a result of this? I don't see a whole lot going on. They're not pushing another lane, really, but no one's going to be coming in. So yeah, Deadwood and Glacius were also even coming over here, but no one to find. So easy tower kill. They could even just keep it going here. We'll see how tdM reacts to this now.
Yeah, they could. They have a double damage rune actually up onto that Silhouette for another. He just popped it, so another 37 seconds. And if they don't respond, this will be a dead tower. And having an extra gold lead very early on like this, if they're able to kill this, it's going to be like something like a 5,000 gold lead. And that meaning your supports, getting your power supplies, getting, vestments and things like that, it's going to be very, very strong for them. Yeah. So they get the tower kill. Yep, 5,000 gold lead. Now, if they are trailing just a little bit in experience, that's just naturally what happens when you push early like this. But I think they'll take the gold lead any day of the week now.
They'll take that exchange. I mean, and it's not like the experience is massive. It's only 1,000 experience lead. Really not bad at all. So, yeah, very, very effective push right there coming out from a Vote. And Trademark Esports definitely has, they got some answering to do here for sure. I mean, Dark Lady, she does finish her Ghost Marches. So, again, typical Noob G route right there. Farming 350 GPM, but still well off eventually that Rune Cleaver. And with the Silhouette, with the success that she all of a sudden is having, now 500, now 530. What the? Okay, they just did. I mean, that explains it, but went from 500 to 530 in a second. So cleans up Ancients. She has a Whispering Helm, actually. Whispering Helm, her first item choice here. What do you make of that?
I think it's great. I think it's fine, especially when you've killed towers, and now what other place are you going to have to go? Probably the jungle. And being able to stack also as he dominates the creep immediately. And he's got another 1,100 gold saved up, so Keizu off to a fantastic start in this game.
Dark Lady may be in a lot of trouble right here. An invisible bubble sitting on top of him is going to kill, but the Rotten Grabs is not going to hit as Deadwood was coming over, and instead Dark Lady will survive. Now, Dark Lady may think that Deadwood's alone, but yeah, no, she's not going to open. And now that if bubbles appear, she probably realizes that, oh, wow, that was actually pretty close. So, but in the end, Dark Lady stays alive and will continue to farm the top lane. Legionnaire just decapitated an ancient creep. That's just funny. I mean, I guess not a big deal, but he wanted to guarantee the kill and then move on. So
it is a pretty low cooldown.
Yeah.
It's only 75 seconds, and most of the time Legionnaires are just trying to farm out their portal key, and then they try to be active. So it's not the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah, just might as well use the abilities, I guess, to help farming if you're not going to use it for kills early on. We do see the, speaking of Ancients, so I want to say this is a triple stack over here as well. No, I think it might have been double stack. But anyways, it was stack of Ancients, and Silhouette gets the majority of the farm, at least. Again, her farm still very impressive. KZU at 534 gold per minute. I mean, its creep farm is not like it's taking off, but it's the tower kills that is really doing it. I mean, both the middle and the 2 bottom tower kills, so 3 tower kills in total already. Coming out here for our Legion team, so it's really helping that add up. So the top lane, Dark Lady will need to be careful now, as you see the Legion team making their way up here. Keeper of the Forest does have a root ready to go, but Dark Lady will fall back. But Vote is just keeping up the pressure, man. They are not letting off the throttle here against Trademark.
I mean, that's what you really have to do when you have kind of been doing some pushing and have some early towers. Why not keep the pressure up? Because you're going to have more items than the other team, obviously, because your supports get more gold. And you're just going to have simply more items to fight in a team fight. Now, you're going to lose out on levels. As you see, they're actually trailing quite a bit now in experience, but they're able to just take every single tower. And more so than the gold, it becomes really, really difficult for their team because they lose on so much map control. Obviously, not having that ability to TP to any of those towers.
Oh, Polar Weapons, what a turnaround by Limp right there. Stops the Falcon Punch. Trying to get a turnaround kill, but with the kill field coming out, may not be. Oh, the tongue tag though. Dark Lady jumping in, and Deadwood may fall when it's all said and done. Yes, he will. Polywar Priest may fall as well. He will to the final auto attack coming out from Skyzo, playing that Bubbles there. But what an initial play coming out from Limp. Bubbles will port away and be fine in the end. Excellent, excellent job, though. That set up the first kill at least to happen on the Deadwood. But in the meantime, Silhouette is still pushing this top lane. Not going to kill the tower, I don't think, but applying a lot of pressure. And may end up falling back very shortly here. But, yeah, very well played by Limp there in the middle lane, as it turns out to be a 1-for-1 exchange.
Absolutely well played by Limp. I'm very impressed. That was a great play by him. And set up a kill that it was a good 1v1 exchange, or 1-for-1 exchange, and it could have been just a very fast, quick kill on the Polywog. So very well played by Limp.
Zai doing an awesome sidestep right there, avoiding the Rotten Grasp. Shell Surf porting from Bubbles and actually taking a Glacial Blast right there. That takes some extra creep damage. Yeah, and oh wow, yeah, he got the tower with the Elemental still. So help. So Zai making some big plays right there himself. So again, this is kind of an interesting game in the sense that, you know, for Vote, sure, they have a 3,400 gold lead. That experience lead is starting to add up more and more, though, in favor of tdM. I mean, it's now a 3,000 experience lead. You have Legionnaire level 9, you have a Dark Lady level 11, Polywog 9, Tempest 8. So levels are starting to look pretty over here for Trademark Esports, no doubt. Dark Lady, again, she's not having the... Okay, she's actually having a pretty good start herself. I just compare it to Silhouette, though, and Silhouette's just obviously just on another level, but... Yeah, Noob G is doing, especially pre-Ring Cleaver, 385 gold per minute. That's very, very solid there. So
yeah, well, she's okay. Level 10 has 83 CS compared to 86 for Silhouette. So and is trailing by 150 GPM. So clearly, all of that gold is coming from towers. Yeah. And actually has 1 assist under her belt as well, whereas Silhouette doesn't have anything. She's 0-0-0. So yeah, it's just a tower gold right now. And I gotta say, if being passive right now, and even though they're losing out on these towers, and it's actually really, really good that Zai got the bottom tower too. But being passive is just fine because Legionnaire against these pushes is going to dominate with the portal key. Minus, I'm sure he plays Legionnaire frequently. He plays it quite well, and once he gets his portal key, it's going to make pushing a lot more difficult for Team Vote.
Yeah, and the Rune Cleaver on top of that from Dark Lady is very, very close now for Noob G. So needs about 400, just over 400 gold, and she will have that. So as impressive as KZU is right now playing this Silhouette, definitely nothing. Vote shouldn't be overconfident by any means because this game is definitely not in any sort of bag, and tdM actually has some favorites in certain places. So yeah, that portal key on Legionnaire, the big item, he has 1,400 gold saved up. So I would assume that the next item is going to be that portal key now, and so it needs about 650 more gold, no, 750 more gold. Then we'll be able to pick that up. Tempest, how is things coming along for him? The Ring of Sorcery Steam Boots, actually. So that's Zyplan Tempest. Yeah, Zyplan Tempest has those items, so no portal key going to be coming up shortly for him, but maybe in the future. And then Polywalk Priest, also a portal key on him. Wouldn't be surprised to see. And he has another 1,200 plus gold saved up himself. So both teams kind of in the mindset right now, at least only 14 minutes in, just over, of let's farm up at least our first initial big items and then maybe make something happen. But KZU does continue to be insane in farm. I mean, he already has a Firebrand Whispering Helm, and he has another 2,000 gold saved up. We're only 14 and a half minutes.
Yep. I know, he is just getting ridiculous amounts of farm, and I got to say, I do really, really like that Whispering Helm pickup. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I think it's a very smart pickup. Obviously, if you go Nullstone, it's not the worst thing in the world either because it does stop the charge from Legionnaire or the Decapitate, one or the other. Otherwise, I mean, charge, that's where Legionnaire gets most of his damage, honestly.
Oh, Tempest Ultimate holding down Deadwood in the meantime at the bottom. That's the Falcon Punch to turn it around, and Tempest will fall. Legionnaire just runs away. The support was clearly there between Bubbles and Glacius also being there, and that's what kind of scared them off when it was all said and done. So I happened to catch that kind of midway through with Tempest already using the ultimate, but that just happened to be Deadwood getting the kill in the end. So good job for Vote right there.
And actually, Legionnaire decides to go for Bulwark over a Blink right now. It's kind of a risky decision, in my opinion. If he shows that, and he's obviously going to, the Courier's coming down here. Actually, some action up in the top lane. What's going on here? Polywog Piece, they're going to try to initiate onto, it's actually Keeper of the Forest, but will they have enough damage before he goes invis? One more auto attack, and Polywog does get it, so good job from the team of Limp and Noob G. And actually, Deadwood has his Blink. He's trying to blink in here and find something that he can do to maybe save his brother, or at least avenge his brother because his brother's already dead. But is not able to connect with anything. By the way, yeah, I don't know if we mentioned that, but Deadwood does have his Blink, so that's going to be very, very good for him.
Didn't mention that, but we saw right there. I mean, picking up the portal key, obviously very, very solid there. He still has a level 1 Falcon Punch, but of course, on his way to leveling that up. Goes from 350 to 650, geez. Then all the way up to 950 physical damage at level 16. So that level 11 mark going to be key now for Deadwood here as far as this game goes. But Geometer's Bane already finished on Silhouette. Jeez Louise. What do you think of that? I mean, do you think that's a correct choice here?
I don't know. It's kind of awkward building Silhouette in this game. Obviously, images kind of hurt you against Legionnaire. You have AoE. If you get enough damage onto Dark Lady as well, you can just charge right in, and if not, kill all those images, silence him, and it just kind of seems a little bit useless. You have the AoE from Tempest. It's hard. I mean, I would have actually just maybe stuck with a Firebrand, and then I don't know. It's actually kind of awkward building out Silhouette, so I guess it's okay. Obviously, a Shrunken Head is not going to be that effective against Legionnaire, but it's still very effective against Dark Lady and Polywog as well. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's kind of awkward building Silhouette this game.
I think the best way to put it is that there's no item that's just obvious. It's a case of, like you're just kind of going through there. I mean, this has, sure, there's positive, but then there's like really, and then there's this, and there's that. So
I think it's a fine pickup, actually. Yeah, it's going to give you overall stats as well.
Exactly. And also, the Silhouette, especially against Dark Lady, is considered a great, great against a lot of other carries because of those Dark Blades, and having the Geometer's Bane at least could take that off yourself if you do get caught out in one of those situations. So that's something else to think about. But they push the top tower in the meantime, so they're pushing somewhat continuing here from Vote. What is that now? That's 5? Yeah, 5 tower kills already. Only 17, nearly 18 minutes into the game. So look at this lineup, and it doesn't scream push to me. I mean, sure, Keep the Forest, you always got to be worried about that, but it's not like a crazy push lineup by any means. But they already have 5 of the 6 outer towers have already been destroyed. So
yep,
very, very good right there. So yeah, we talked about earlier, Legionnaire to go the Soul's Bulwark route here, and also has a Plated Greaves finish. So
yeah, so he's going to be getting a very late portal key. And I will say that the Plated Greaves, especially the Bulwark, I mean, Bulwark is going to be great against Deadwood's and actually Silhouette as well. And it does help you farm very, very fast. Offensive Bulwark, obviously your Whirling Blade is physical damage, and being able to reduce the physical damage of creeps that you're farming against, it makes you farm very fast. But against pushing, and they're actually timing a push right now. Keep the Force has a blink of his own. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be kind of hard to kind of get in there without a portal key. We'll have to see how he does it.
Well, KZU, nearly 600 gold per minute right now. This is the last outer tower here. That is up right now for tdM. In fact, they're going to jump right here onto Silhouette. Silhouette dropping quickly. The Tempest ultimate. No, not even used Decapitate. Used Dago Silhouette. In comes the root from Keeper of the Forest. Tempest is not running. There's the Tempest ultimate that they were looking for. Pulling everyone in. And the Legion team is going to fall apart. Deadwood and Keeper trying to run away. Revelation put down. Keeper of the Forest barely will survive. Silhouette did buy back, though. And Silhouette is back in this fight. Takes out Dark Lady. Takes out a Luna right there. KZU making some big plays. Tempest and Legionnaire realizing they've overstepped the boundaries. Dark Lady buys back, though. And now Dark Lady's back into the fight. She's going to go to Keeper of the Force. The Revelation is down. Keeper of the Force will fall. And now Silhouette and Bubbles will be forced to fall back. Silhouette bought back, and she had a double damage rune, actually. You can see right there. She's going to take a Glacial Blast, turn this around. Will it kill Tempest? Yes, it will. But will it be enough? Legionnaire with the taunt does not have Decapitate, unfortunately. And Legionnaire will fall. Oh, the spin's doing so much damage, but Silhouette gets away. and she will survive. Polywalk Priest comes back in the fight. How many buybacks were used right there? There's 3 total. Okay, Silhouette and Bubbles bought back, and then Dark Lady bought back as well. So when it's all said and done, I mean, I don't even know. I mean, did anyone really come out on top there? That was a crazy fight.
It was crazy. It looked so good. That was such a fantastic ult by Zai, but they just didn't have just enough damage to get all those heroes down. And not being able to kill Z-Freak right away after that, they had some that sentry dropped, and it's fantastic. But just wasn't enough damage. I got a favor actually just a little bit on Vote, to be honest. I think they came out just a little bit on top. They didn't get that much out of the buyout from Noob G. They got a little bit more from KZU's. And I got to say that was just simply, if they had spotted that buyout, that would have been fantastic for tdM. And they had definitely ample time to do so. I mean, he bought back, he TP'd, he had to walk all the way over there. He doesn't have a portal key or anything like that to get right up in their face. So they definitely could have seen that and maybe just retreated a little bit. But obviously the team fight did come out a little bit even, so it didn't go heavily in either team's favor.
Yeah, that was a very interesting fight indeed. But I still can't, I mean, so KZU, so we bought back that fight as we saw, and then he also purchases a Slayer as soon as he gets back to base. So the dude is just farming like a freaking machine.
Yeah.
604 gold per minute now. He's on his way to obviously a Savage Mace here in the works. Absolutely big. Kind of a note as what you're talking about there at the very end, you know, with Silhouette porting in after the buyback and then joining your team. It kind of goes back to what you're talking about with the tower kills and the positioning it gives you, the map control it gives you. If, say they killed this middle tower here, that most likely would have never happened. I mean, because it would have took Silhouette that much longer, maybe another 5 or 6 seconds, and that could have made the difference. So, yeah, that's just, again, something to keep in mind.
Exactly, that's a very good point. One other thing, too, to look at this game is that Tree Armor is going to be very, very effective against both Legionnaire and Dark Lady. Oh, yeah. As it comes towards the later stages of the game. Tempest Ultimate is still on cooldown, I believe. It's a very long cooldown. It's actually only 35 seconds, but of course, Keeper of the Forest Ultimate, much faster cooldown. Has that already up and available to go. Bound Die is also up on Keeper of the Forest, so they're going to be able to use that to get some counter warding done. They've already countered that ward in the mid, placed by Insania. And they may look towards a Conqueror, actually just probably looking to scout out maybe some wards around it. But they're going to go for a Conqueror, actually, looks like. I have to agree, too. I really like this Savage Mace pickup coming out from KZU. He's going to dish out so much damage. I hope after that, or maybe even before, he gets a Blink, though. Well, Tempest is just out of his portal key range. Now, he can sell his Minor Totems. Okay, no, he did have enough gold, so he does have his portal key now, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get here in time. Now, is there a fight up here? No, this is just the illusions on Dark Lady. They are going to fall back, though. They're not going to fully commit to a Conquer kill now, as they're realizing that tdM is actually ready to go themselves. Now, they don't know Tempest has the portal key yet. They did seem like still hadn't purchased it, so he hasn't really shown that information. But, you know, if you're a vote, you maybe figure he was farming out there. He's not there now. Maybe he has it, even though he didn't have it last fight. So, you know, obviously they're somewhat keeping that in mind. They're not committing to the kill. Obviously, being in the pit right here would just be so deadly against a Tempest. So they're instead going to go towards the middle lane, kind of farm back the creep wave out, get more farm on KZU, work towards that Savage Mace, finishing it at least, and then maybe go back to Conqueror. But yeah, smart decision there definitely by Vote coming out. We're going to try to catch somebody, but as you can see, might not be happening. But they're all sticking together here. This is close. Yeah, it seems like they may get some chances, but... Yeah, this ward site's doing wonders for them from Sunder. Oh, yeah. I believe that may have scouted out Tempest. He was a little far away, but I think he actually did come in range. Oh, true. And they're going to come right back, going to march right back into Kongor. The only ward that they have up, actually, Insania, they probably did see them actually walk around that area, and so they're walking back. They really need to counter this ward. Otherwise, you know, Vote's just going to keep playing him like this. Well, this kind of goes back to as well, Legionnaire still doesn't have his portal key, and that talks about that, how he doesn't have that jump in potential. Now, he is getting very close. He has 2,000 gold. In fact, he could sell... He should just sell his vestments. Yeah, he doesn't really need them. Even. Mana Battery wouldn't give him enough just yet, but he could sell even the vestments, like you said. It seems like he's going to go to the jungle real quickly, though, and says, I could just do it this way. As they're not committing to Conqueror, so that's probably the safer decision there. But, yeah, so but he more than likely is going to have his portal key, though, now in just a couple of seconds even. He tries to stack right there. Messed up a little bit, but hey, he's got the portal key. That's what matters. Still actually 5 gold shy. That was the change right there. But we'll pick it up here, and that on top of Tempest having a portal key now. So that's obviously going to be a big presence in this next coming team fight. Polywalk Priest, he still has it. He's had his portal key for a little bit, I believe. I think he even had it the last fight. So yeah. So they go for Conqueror somewhat, not able to fully commit to it, though, and in the end,
He stays alive. Tapping a command on Bubbles, by the way. He didn't go the 40 here. Oh, a hasted Invincible Deadwood jumps on a Tempest right there. Tempest is going to fall right off the bat. In comes Keeper the Forest, putting a root down. In the meantime, Dark Lady Ultimate also used. Dark Lady jumps in, trying to tear up Glacier. Not going to happen, though. Keeper the Forest will burn down, but Dark Lady needs to be careful as Silhouette pounding in the damage. Tablet in 4. Deadwood finishes off Polywog Priest right there. Dark Lady pulls away with the charging strikes. Will be fine when it's all said and done. Red stun attempt coming in from Aluna, but she cannot get close enough. Instead, just uses the power throw. But that, I mean, hell. Invisible hasted Deadwood. What can you do against that?
It's not much. And the Savage Mace has been delivered to Silhouette. 622 gold per minute, just farming like crazy. They're still a little bit scared to do this Conqueror.
Yeah.
Now that the Legionnaire has that blink, I will say it did look like it was going to be a lot worse for TDM.
It did, yeah.
Able to rectify a little bit of a problem there. V0TE looking to go towards that Frostburn. He's not farming nearly as well as Keizu. And just that early tower gold made it a lot easier for not only them to have that extra gold, but to give Keizu gold to buy items that help him farm faster. Having that 8-minute, what was it, Steam Boots and Whispering Helm at 8 minutes, I mean, that helps him farm faster. So it's just a snowballing effect.
Yeah, it really has been for him, and again, it just keeps showing up with the gold per minute chart every time we pulled it up. You know, Dark Lady, she's obviously impressive farm herself, but it just doesn't stand up to that of Silhouette. But V0TE is at 457 gold per minute. She does have the Ice Brand now finished, so that after the Abyssal Skull, of course. And wouldn't be surprised to see that Frostburn pick up here. So we would usually go to. But yeah, Conqueror's regenerated plenty of life now, so there's not going to be any sneaky Conqueror attempts coming out here anytime soon. But I obviously the triple portal key threat here on Trademark Esports side is really keeping V0TE on their toes. You can kind of tell, I mean, that last fight, as you said, it seemed like it could have been so much worse. But in the end, they couldn't even finish off Conqueror, and they just had to fall back just because of the threats. Even with Tempest dead, he was about to resurrect. That gotcha potential that this Hellborn team has is very deadly. So they want to play it safe. Smart decision for sure. But that is going to buy more time in the process for Dark Lady to constantly get up. And actually, look at this. They're going to try to steal Conqueror here. Wards are even being used. They're pretty committed here. Oh, man, this could be interesting now.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to snipe out a Conqueror now. But that might be the bad decision. And now the wards are on cooldown.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know about this. They have a ton of wards pumped in, or not just the poly wards, but vision wards down here. But with the bound die, I think they still had it. Yeah, the bound die is still up on Deadwood. They're going to be able to counter pretty much everything. Yeah, look at that. All the vision now is lost for tdM, so that's very unfortunate.
Well, yeah, usually Polywog Priest wards are used like that. It's a full commitment. But in the end, they didn't want to full commit. I mean, they said, you know what, maybe this isn't the best decision. Decide to fall back. We could argue that probably wasn't, but again, you use a cooldown like that going into what, again, not the longest cooldown. It's 110 seconds right now. But still, it's still on cooldown. You have a possible fight that could be taking place here. And to not have wards is a pretty big deal. Deadwood just jumps in onto Aluna and absolutely decimates her. So right off the bat, we have a 5 versus 4. More jumps coming in. Root in the background. Tempest going to drop fast. And Tempest will fall when it's all said and done. Dark Lady getting caught out. Dark Lady getting charging strikes away, just trying to survive at this point. Legionnaire trying to get away. It's not going to happen for him. Polywog Priest will be able to pour it out. And Dark Lady still in pursuit. Charging strikes in 1 second. Going to avoid the Shell Surf. And it will survive, but now we're most likely going to see Conqueror be killed, and it will go here for V0TE.
Yeah, that was a fantastic keeper route, I gotta say. It caught so many people, and but at the same time, Zai, if you saw his positioning, he was like the first one up in front, or very, very close to the rest of them. And he needs to be like the last one. He can be sitting in like in the base, and that would be fine positioning. He just cannot be anywhere close to the team fight. He has to be pretty much one of the last ones in. And as a result, they capitalized. They killed him first, and then realized, especially with Aluna dead, they're fighting a fight 3v5, and their biggest team fight potential is at Tempest Hole. And so, yeah, TDM now takes Conqueror. They're in a significant lead now. And with a Silhouette farming over 600 gold per minute still, and a token of life on top of that, it's going to be hard for TDM to bounce back into this game.
It really will be at this point. I mean, definitely doable for sure, but V0TE is in a much more comfortable spot, that's for sure, after that fight. Are those both cases? Yeah, he has a Skeleton King and a Vagabond Leader. And actually, the interesting thing about a Vagabond Leader is, and I wonder if he even has it just for this reason, is the health regen, or the +3 health regeneration. Again, not massive by any means, but hey, it's something. And that can be somewhat beneficial. So, of course, that's where you start talking about things like Wolf Commanders and the good old Snotter bosses. Still can't wait to see that come into play. with the move speed aura. But anyways, so it's controlling more and more minions with that Whispering Helm cooldown. Has another 2,800 gold saved up himself. Dark Lady is getting very close to finishing a Frostburn here, but again, that's not really an item where you stand and say, oh, now that's going to be a game changer item by any means. You still will need it if you're Dark Lady. In fact, there we go. She finishes it, but you're going to need another big item here. You know, whatever that may be. I don't know. I don't think Shrunken Head makes a whole lot of sense here, right? On Dark Lady, or
not really. I mean, it's going to get you out of the Bubbles ulti. That's great. It's going to get you out of the Key of the Force ultimate, but it doesn't help you at all against Deadwood, and especially it's not going to help you against Silhouette pounding in those auto attacks.
Yeah.
So I think he needs to go straight offensive. Something like Rift Shards would probably be the best decision for him.
True. Yeah. Just go balls to the wall here.
Yep.
So we'll see what Noob G decides to do for Trademark Esports. And that could definitely be the game decider there for sure. Yeah, Zai playing the Tempest, as great as a player he is, and we've seen some awesome plays from him this game. I mean, just not that it's necessarily been his fault, it's just been better play from V0TE. He really hasn't been able to get any ultimates off in these last couple of fights, and that's no doubt been a big issue. He's gotten picked off right off the bat. So, you know, hopefully for his sake and for tdM's sake that he can get him a little bit better initial position and able to jump in as a result, because that's definitely going to be big for the Hellborn side. Keizu now, again, still sitting on the Token of Life. About 4.5 minutes now remaining, so they still got a little bit more farm time if they want to use it before they really should look to push with it if, again, that's what they choose to do. But she has another 4,000 gold saved up now, and you got to start wondering now what item she's going to go for next as far as what she already has. So,
yeah,
knowing that she's still going to be getting bigger and better as this game progresses is definitely scary in itself. So
she could get a Wingbow. Honestly, Wingbow would be pretty damn good here. Normally, you don't see, and it looks like Dark Lady is going to go for that Shrunken Head, but normally you would see Dark Ladies go for something like Crit or even a Wingbow themselves, or Shrunken Head in this case. He's going to go actually for Symbol Rage on Silhouette. But Wingbow is good because normally Dark Ladies don't go for Savage Mace. It just doesn't seem to really work as well as, like, say, Rift Shards. Rift Shards seems to synergize much better with that hero. But nonetheless, having that extra HP and then the ability to obviously get that massive lifesteal from Symbol Rage is going to be good for Silhouette.
Yeah. Actually, an interesting stat right here. Again, we did it last game. Maybe we should start looking at this more, but the building damage on the stats tab. Focusing on the Hellborn side, look at that. I mean, Tempest is the only one to actually even do building damage this game. For the Hellborn team, it's 20% overall. You see that they have 2 towers killed at the top and the bottom, but I guess Tempest was all of that. So no one else on the Hellborn side has even done any damage. Even Polywalk Priest. I mean,
yeah,
and that seems pretty ridiculous. But that goes to back to the beginning of this game, how aggressive V0TE was off the bat, and how that really put tdM on their toes. So,
yep, definitely. And probably a lot of the damage just simply happened from creeps.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, it's not over just yet. It's a whole nother thing pushing into the high ground. It really is. And just Defender's Advantage. There's a reason why it's called Defender's Advantage. It's, especially in this game, I mean, obviously you have the fog to work with and looking uphill.
Yeah.
And you can't really see that much. And the base tower does pumping auto text damage.
Room.
What's that?
Silhouette has another double damage room.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so she just activated it too. So she's got that Symbol of Rage right here. She's just sitting in the front ground. She has a Token of Life, of course. Not too worried by any means of even being jumped here. So just going to pound away damage onto the tower, the uphill, of course, the Savage Mace, and not really, again, too worried. So the Hellborn side of the tough decision to make here. You know, do they jump this Silhouette and try to get the Token of Life kill right away and then follow it up, or do they wait for something else? But the longer you wait, your racks may eventually fall, so that's, again, where it becomes very tough. As far as the decision you really just have to make. So Silhouette just going to sit up here as she should, just continue to pound in. Now the double damage has worn off at least, so that is the good news right there. But still no jump. Finally we see a taunt coming in. Nope, trying to maybe bait them as Polywalk Priest will follow. There's a War Trap, and they are somewhat committed now. Dark Lady ultimate going to be used to cover. Darkness coming out. Bubbles ports in though. In comes Dark Lady, still dropping about half-life now. Silhouette holding her ground. Did she use the Symbol of Rage? No, she hasn't even yet. There goes Dark Lady. Tempest ultimate coming out, but is it going to matter when it's all said and done? Bubbles will be decapitated, but Aluna falls. Tempest falls. Legionnaire just running back to base, and V0TE is just going to destroy this team fight now as they're going to go for the racks now. Dark Lady cannot buy back here.
Yeah, that's the main thing too. And that was a good Tempest ultimate, but it just seemed like they weren't making a decision fast enough. It was either, and it was kind of a mixed decision.
Yeah.
Like, you should have either done one or the other. You needed to honestly jump Silhouette the second you saw him doing any damage to your tower with a double damage rune. because there's nothing you can do. You either just sit there and take the damage, and then go on a token of life silhouette.
Yeah.
It's a really difficult decision to make, but you had to do one or the other. Either go all out on the silhouette the second you saw the double damage, or literally concede all of your racks.
Yeah.
And you had to do one or the other, and it was kind of like, well, let's let them kill the tower first, and then we'll go on him, but not really go on him. It just didn't. That initiation didn't really work out, and it went way too late.
Yeah, I think there clearly was some miscommunication. I mean, because Legionnaire jumped in, he taunted, then he kind of walked away, and then Polywire Priest went in like 2 seconds later, and then that's when things kind of got started after that. So yeah, I don't know if there's just between the team they were kind of in disagreement, but yeah, clearly they just weren't all on the same page, and just did not work out there. So obviously tdM, they're going to stick in here for now, but now with a 16,000 gold lead, 9,200 experience lead, Gary Johnson 2012 is in a very, very solid spot here. And especially keep looking back at KZoo, man. 655 gold per minute now. He has another 4,000 gold already saved up after that Symbol of Rage. Yeah, Wingbow at this point definitely wouldn't surprise me. Especially for a fact. In fact, there we go. The Dancing Blade just purchased. So you know for a fact that Savage Mace is not going to be coming up here for Dark Lady. So
Wingbow is also fantastic for your illusions too, because their damage increases from your stats, not your attack speed.
Yeah.
And agility, you get a lot of agility through Wingbow. So yeah, it's going to be a fantastic item for her. And I don't know what more tdM can do. Obviously, that kind of sucks. That team fight would have been completely different had Silhouette not had a double damage rune to just completely take a free tower. But like I said, their decision needed to be either jump him immediately or completely concede the mid.
Yeah. Well, got caught in between and didn't work out too well. So Legionnaire now over to the Ancients. Is going to continue to farm himself. He, of course, does have that portal key now for a while. We'll see what item he goes for next. Dark Lady, what does she have saved up? 1,500 gold. Again, so she's not even like that close to her Shrunken Head. She's still, so she has enough for the Warhammer now. She still needs the pattern on top of that. It's at 2,900 gold mark. So still going to be a little bit ways from there. But as we talked about earlier, is Shrunken Head really going to do the most for you against this Legion team? Silhouette obviously just won't care about that. Deadwoods doesn't care about it. It's just it's very questionable whether or not that is the most efficient choice here. But is going to be picking it up, or looking to pick it up at least here in the near future.
I mean, it helps you against the spells of Glacius and Bubbles in particular. Also be able to get out of the cube the Force Ultimate. It's not a bad item at all. It's just the whole team in general just is lacking severely in gold. And the experience is one thing, but you have so many items up on every member of the Legion team. It's difficult to pick a fight at all. And they can maybe get some pickoffs at the very least, but V0TE's doing a really good job about staying together.
His tune picked up right there by Dark Lady, so we're going to just run around with it, not really do too much. Barbed Armor just finished on Legionnaire, actually, I believe. I just saw him purchase it, so it's another fun item pickup, but also a very good one at that. That's actually a very solid choice here for a Legionnaire to have as an intimidating target now, if he wasn't already in these team fights, and intimidating in the sense you don't want to attack him when he has it activated, of course. So not Dark Lady, but Silhouette though, the Savage, or not Savage, but Wingbow. Wingbow should be coming up here soon. I guess may actually want to save up for buyback on top of that, but just to be safe. But she does have the Dancing Blade, and not even on her, actually. I'm curious about that. Seems like that's kind of a powerful item to, you just spent, what, 3,300 gold on it. Might want to actually put it on yourself, but
yeah.
Currently on the courier. You do not want that courier dying. That and a Storm Spirit currently on it. Storm Spirit's delivered a keeper, and it's going to go back to base. So I guess KZoo doesn't really care too much about the extra agility. But he's going to farm up the Ancients. He just got the Snake Bracelet, and I believe as well as his team staff. So yeah, Wingbow is going to be delivered now for KZoo, as it's going to be finished here on the courier. And
you have 2 Storm Spirits on your team, both Bubbles and Keep of the Force, along with that Abyssal Skull. So they have fantastic, absolutely perfect items on Legion. Demonic Breastplate up on Deadwood. Shrunken Head is finished on TDL, but it just really doesn't matter. I expect them to just absolutely steamroll over tdM in the next fight. Items are just too much, quite frankly. And even if they get Silhouette down, you have a number of different things to work with. One, she's already got so much friggin' armor, and the ability to escape, and now evasion on top of that. Yeah. She can get Storm Spirited 2 different times. She has more armor from Deadwood's Demonic that he's holding. Also has, if you don't kill her through all of that, can still life leech everything back with her Symbol of Rage. So I don't know how you even go about going in a team fight against this. I guess maybe the only thing you can do is kill Keep of the Force before he ultis. That's probably the only thing I can think of. But it's so difficult because if you do that, you have you have a silhouette pounding in your face.
And she has a token of life now.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah, now she's gonna have a token of life. So these fights have gone from ridiculously hard to probably impossible.
Just, pretty much to the point of, just not going to happen. I mean, so tdM again, it's obviously their choice in the end whether or not to concede, but it's not looking too pretty. This is just game number 1 here, this best of 3, so obviously we will be going on to at least a second game here, but it does look like Vote is just going to be too overwhelming in the end for Trademark Esports to handle. Vote is going to group up here at the bottom lane, though, going to get that lane pushed in, obviously the middle lane kind of working on its own due to the racks being down, so they figure bottom is the next best choice. And pretty good time. Yeah, you look at the armor on Silhouette, the 40.6, a 70.9% damage reduction, physical damage reduction that is, on her right now. So a lot of reduction coming out. Dark Hoodie, even Dark Hoodie and Legionnaire not going to be doing too much to her. Like you said, even if they somehow start bursting her down, then there's a simpler rage they have to worry about. And also a token of life. So yeah, she's just going to sit back, pound uphill auto attacks, no big deal. So if you're tdM here, you got to jump soon. In fact, there we go. Legionnaire comes in with a taunt. Here's a follow-up on top of actually Deadwood right there, but one Storm Spirit going out. Deadwood looking to turn things around. Cover in Darkness will come on. The Tempest ultimate actually pretty big right there by Zai. Glacius will fall. Silhouette still in the background, though, doing so much damage. And in the end, Darkhood will go down. Tempest goes down after that. Legionnaire is going to fall. He gets the Decapitate off, but he goes down. Hat-trick coming out for Keizu. As did he even die there? No, he did not. He didn't even use the symbol, I don't think. So that goes to show you how ridiculous Silhouette was in that team fight. Invulnerability is going to be used, but Dark Hoodie cannot buy back. It's not going to happen. Polywire Priest jumps in. They're just trying to delay this as much as possible. They just don't have anywhere near enough damage to make anything happen. Storm Spirit coming out. There goes Polywire Priest. The racks are going to start falling now. And I think we could be expecting to see a GG's come here. In fact, there we go. There's a vote to concede. And the GG well played. So that is going to do it for game number 1. What a finish right there. Keizu finishes strong. Over 700 gold per minute, at least what I saw on my chart. So, wow.
Yeah. And I got to say, Keizu really impressed me that game especially. The whole team as well played fantastically. Right at the end there, Z-Freak blinking in and Storm Spiriting, and then attacking for the final blow.
Yeah.
At the end there, that was really fun to watch. But Keizu, I always mention about his APM in general. He always seems to have a very low APM.
Yeah.
Not like it makes the biggest difference in the world, but he's at 115. I knew something was different about the way he was playing. So, no, just a funny little joke there. But good job by Team Vote. I liked their lineup in general. And they just, in addition to that, I liked actually both lineups, but I just simply think they outplayed tdM.
Yeah, they did. I agree. I really think that was just a case of Gary Johnson 2012 was the better team in game number 1. So that's obviously going to do it for game number 1, but it is a best out of 3 series. So interested to see how tdM responds, of course. Like I said, going into the match, I think both of us actually had Trademark Esports winning the series even.
2-1.
Yeah, 2-1. You're all right. But in the end, Gary Johnson indeed takes game 1. So it is a 1-0 series lead for them. Will Trademark come back and then force that game 3 at least? Well, we'll have to find out. So we're going to take a quick break right here once again. Stay tuned. Game 2 coming up next.